You pay your credit cards on time, you never max them out, but you can't seem to boost your credit score. So what's going on? In today's video, I'll show you everything you need to finally get that 800 credit score. And I have one little trick that I can't wait to show you. Hey, I'm Katherine, founder of Imperfect Budget, and I help women feel less overwhelmed by money by breaking down saving, spending, and investing into simple, understandable terms. But before you can boost your credit score, you have to understand, what is a credit score? Your credit score is determined by your credit history. It's like a report card, but instead of getting a grade in history class, you're getting a grade for how you manage your money. The reason why credit scores are so important is because lenders use them to determine how trustworthy they think you are before lending you money. Basically, they want to know, is this person going to pay me back? The higher your credit score, the more likely the answer is, yes, I will get my money back. If you ever plan to buy a house, finance a car, take on student loans, use a credit card, and in some cases, even rent an apartment, you need a good credit score. One of the most common types of credit scoring is the FICO score, named for the Fair Isaac Corporation that developed it. The FICO model uses 5 categories for scoring and then assigns you a specific number between 300 and 850. I'm going to walk you through how each of these 5 categories impacts your credit score and give you some tips and tricks along the way to get your credit score over 800. The first and most important category in your credit score is payment history. Basically, do you pay on time? This is worth 35% of your credit score, and it is the largest portion of your credit score. If you make your payment on or before the credit card due date, then you'll get full points in this category. The easiest way to raise your credit score is to set all of your credit cards on auto pay. That way, you'll never miss a payment. Even if you can't pay the full balance, at least pay the minimum on time. This way, you'll get full points for payment history, although this will affect your credit score in other ways, which we'll talk about next. The next most important category in your credit score is what's called current debts or amounts owed. This is worth 30% of your credit score. This number is affected by your credit utilization. Credit utilization is the percentage of your credit that you use from month to month. For example, if you have a credit card that has a $10,000 limit and you spend $5,000, you've used 50% of your available credit. Generally speaking, keeping this number under 30% is good. Keeping it under 10% is amazing. But don't worry, I am not going to tell you to cut back on your spending to achieve this. There is a much easier way. Just call your credit card company and ask them to increase your credit limit. Watch how this helps your credit score. Let's say you called your credit card company and you asked them to increase your credit limit from the $10,000 that it was before to $15,000. Then you spend the same $5,000 that you spent last month. This time you only use 33% of your credit and you get an instant boost to your score. The lower your utilization score, the higher your credit score. Just be cautious here and don't spend more money on your card only because you have a higher credit limit. Try to keep spending at the same level that you were previously so it has the maximum effect on your score. The third component of your credit score is the length of your credit history. And unfortunately, this is the one you have the least control over. The length of your credit history combines both the oldest account that you have and the average age of all of your accounts. For example, let's say you have one credit card that is 10 years old. Pretty good. But then you opened 3 credit cards in the past 12 months. That brings your average age down to 3.25 years. And a lender is going to wonder why you're suddenly opening so many cards and if you're using them to overspend. The best thing you can do here is keep your cards open as long as possible. Whatever student card you got back in college, just keep it open. An excellent score in this category is 20 plus years, so just be patient. But don't worry, you can absolutely get above an 800 credit score without 20 years of credit history. My oldest card is about 10 years old and the average age of my cards is about 6 years. And I have an 813 credit score, so this is absolutely possible. The fourth component of your credit score is what's called new credit. Basically, this section records how often you've asked for new credit, and this sticks around on your credit report for about 2 years. When you request new credit for a credit card, a car loan, a mortgage, or student loans, the lender does what's called a hard inquiry. A hard inquiry is a deep dive into your credit history to determine if you are a reliable person to lend money to. It is normal to see a slight dip in your credit score after applying for new credit, so don't be surprised. It usually bounces back within a couple of months. The final and smallest portion of your credit score is what's called types of credit or credit mix. There are two types of credit: installment loans and revolving credit. Installment loans are when you have to pay the full amount every month, and they have a final due date sometime in the future when the full amount will be paid off. These are things like car loans, student loans, or mortgages. Revolving credit doesn't usually have a set balance or a final due date. For most people, this is credit cards. Having a mixture of these two types of credit can increase your credit score, but you should never take on debt just to increase your credit score. So if you have a car loan or a mortgage, that's fine, but don't go looking for one just to increase your credit score. Now that you understand the different components that make up your credit score, the most important question is, how do I increase my credit score? First, pay on time. You saw in the first section that payment history is the largest portion of your credit score. So paying on time goes a long way to boosting your score. Then, keep your oldest cards open. As we saw in section 3, the length of your credit history is also important. Even if it's an old card that you barely use, just keep it open so the account still appears on your credit report. Similarly, keep your old cards active by putting a small reoccurring purchase on them. Some companies will close your card if it is inactive for more than 6 months. But even if your company doesn't do this, keeping a small recurring purchase on it will make your utilization score look amazing. I had a card that was about 6 or 7 years old that I never used, but I kept it open to increase the length of my credit history. Then I put a $10 Hulu subscription on it, and my credit score jumped 30 points in 1 month. Because the subscription was so small, the utilization on that card was less than 1%, which looked great on my credit report. Finally, I do have a clever little trick for boosting your credit score, but this is not some crazy credit hack. It will only work if you are already paying your bills on time and in full. Got it? On time, in full. Okay, so your credit card company reports your credit usage to credit reporting agencies once a month, usually a little before your due date. You've probably heard of them before: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. This is why not paying your credit card on time can affect your credit score, because your credit card company is basically ratting you out to the credit reporting agencies. Generally, you want this credit reporting to happen because it says to the credit reporting agencies, hey, I used my card this month, I paid my bill, I'm responsible. But as we learned in section 2, your credit utilization, which is 30% of your score, makes a big impact. So if you happen to be running a little high on your credit cards, you can make a payment before your company sends its report to the reporting agencies. It will make it look like you're spending less money and lower your utilization score. For example, let's say you have a $10,000 credit limit and you usually spend $2,000 per month. That's a 20% utilization score. But 1 month, you buy flights to Europe for $1,000. If you pay off those flights immediately, your spending will look exactly the same as it does every other month, at least to the credit reporting agencies. This will help keep your utilization low and your credit score high. Having a good credit score is important for everyone. If you want to buy a house, finance a car, or take out student loans, you need a good credit score. Whether you're trying to build credit for the first time or recover from poor credit, taking actionable steps today will set you on the right path. If you liked this video, you may also like this one, right here. Go ahead and check it out and come back every Wednesday for new money content.